Hey guys, this is Asad Siddiqui. I'm the owner and developer at iDesignSmart.com, and today's video is the most exciting X-Theme video in my X-Theme tutorial series. This is a continuation from my previous videos on the X-Theme and Cornerstone. In the previous videos, I created a video about how to set up the X-Theme and how to install the theme and set up the child theme and things like that. The next video was about the demo content. So we went over in detail about the standard and the extended demos, and I installed the standard demo with Integrity 1. Then I talked about how to create sliders quickly, and we talked about the free slider exchange. I downloaded one and installed it on my website. So I have not done anything after that. So this is how my website looks. I've imported the Integrity 1 demo content. So this is a very exciting video because of two reasons. Firstly, we will go over how to edit the demo content that comes with the standard install, and secondly, I will go in detail, in depth about what Cornerstone is and how you can use Cornerstone to create page layouts. And we will discuss about some of the great features, great new features in Cornerstone. It's a very lightweight, state-of-the-art, what you see is what you get type editor, where you can make visual changes to your website without any knowledge of HTML and CSS. So let's jump right into it. I have my website on my test server where I was installing the sample content before to show you guys. We will get started, and to edit the page, what we will do is simply click on edit page here. Once the page comes up in edit mode for WordPress, I'll click on edit with Cornerstone, and this will open up the page in Cornerstone. So once the page opens up in Cornerstone, then I will go over the various things. So now you can see the page is open up in Cornerstone. Important thing to know is this is the header of the website and this is the slider. So we are not going to edit that as the part of the page. In my previous video, I did show you how you can configure this slider to be above or below the masthead. So if you haven't checked that out, it has some good information and you can use it to your advantage. So before we go about editing the page, I want to give you a quick walkthrough about this editor and Cornerstone. So at the top, you see these four icons. The left-hand side icon is the layout. So this will pretty much summarize what different sections you have on your site. So right now it says image right, timeline image left. So these are section names. So these are not built-in controls or widgets. So just something, this can be anything. You can name it anything you want. And as I hover over these, it'll highlight various things on my website. So if I go down here and I click on, or not click on, but hover over this element, this is the section that it covers. And if you go down further, timeline image left is that. And if you go down further, there is another timeline image right. Going down further, you have these counter elements section and the feature. So there are different sections on the page. So that is what came with the sample install. We'll quickly go over the other elements. This is the elements tab. So what it gives you all the other different kind of widgets or built-in controls that you can use with Cornerstone. So there are many different controls like accordions, like drop-down buttons, alert, author, block grid, block code, button, call out, card, clear. There are so many. There are text blocks, there are titles, text type, social sharing, sliders. So you can use all these elements in your layout, and I will try to cover some of these in my video. The next one is the inspector, which will tell you exactly when you're editing a particular element. So let's say I click on this title element right here, which is the custom headline. So I click on that, and you can see that this opened in the inspector window or inspector tab of Cornerstone. Says custom headline is the name of the widget, and this is how it is configured. The next one is the settings, the X theme settings. These are not only page settings, but some of them will also apply to the website and X theme in general. So some of the X theme settings will be accessible from here. So I don't want to go too far away from Cornerstone, as the topic of this video is Cornerstone. Maybe I will cover the header and some of the other elements in a later video, but this video I want to focus on Cornerstone. So getting started, how to edit the demo content. How you edit the demo content is very simple. Is all you want is to keep the layout but change how various things are over here. What you can do is simply click on them and it'll open them in the inspector tab. Before I go even there, the other stuff that I left in Cornerstone is you can add new sections. There's a very impressive thing about templates that I'll go in detail with you when we work on a new page. And there are some icons here like custom CSS, you can do JS, you can open this design in a layout view as opposed to a visual view. So this is like a text view where you can drag and drop widgets and edit them. If you like this one better, which most of the people use Cornerstone because they like the visual view, you can just use this window. This will pop up the page on a new tab, so then you can look at the whole page. This will collapse the Cornerstone window, so it'll go inside and you'll have the full view of the page. And this is the all important save button. So whenever you make changes in Cornerstone and do something, you can always have to save it. So once you click on save, it saves your changes and the page. So now we have a good understanding of what these various options in Cornerstone means and how the overall layout is. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough on how to edit some of that. So let's say we want to edit this layout. We want to delete maybe the third section here. We want to change images and text here. So how do we do that? So let's say I want to change the title. I'll simply click on it. And once I click on it, I will just change the heading. So I can do that. And it says heading level is actually H2 and it looks like an H2. So this is very much an H2 element. And these are different. Like if I do make it look like H4 or heading 4, it'll be configured slightly differently, but I don't want to change the look and feel of it. So I will do that. If you want to change the color of the heading, you can do text color and change the heading. Going down, you can change the alignments and you can apply different classes on it. So with the demo content, it had some class which has some style elements defined. Timeline, responsive H timeline, they are defining a margin on the style. So you can also do inline styles on this element by defining the style here. So what is the meaning of inline style? Let's save this change. So I'll click on save, and once I do that, it'll just save my page. So basically my page is saved now, and let's open this page in a new tab. So once the page is saved, what I will do is simply open that in a new tab by clicking on this button, and the page is open in my new tab. This is my heading. So if I go and look at this element in my Google Chrome inspector, I don't want the iPhone 6 view, but I want the responsive view. And I look at this, this is my heading. What you will see is the H2 element here has some style. So this is the style, margin 21%, 0 pixel, 0 pixel, that we defined here on this element's inline style. So if I go back to this element, this is the style of the H2 element right here. Now about changing the text is absolutely the same. You can click on it, pretty much type whatever you want. I wouldn't change the HTML because there's some style that is linked with that. So let's say I want to change this text right here. So once you have modified that, maybe a couple more lines will look better. So I will just click, copy that, and do that. So now it has some line of text, link that is not really going anywhere. So if you want to make this go someplace, you can do a href and point to wherever the URL you want it to go. So this is a very simple text element. And if here, let's say we want to change this image, I'll click on the image itself, and this brings the source and style for the image. So you can do different styles. You can do thumbnail, you can do rounded, you can do circle. So if you want to crop your images, this is a 600 by 600 image. I will just replace it. So I'll click on the close, and then I'll open the add button, and I have something in my media library which is the same image as they have on their demo. So that is the image. So next, going forwards, I want to change this. I'll click on this, do the cross, and I will add a new image, maybe this one, and insert into post. I can change this text. The image underneath of the section, like you can see that there is a timeline type image. The images have these lines and this built in with them. That is just a background image of the section. So let's go there and take a quick look at it. So what we will do is go to the layout window again, and this is the section. So if we go to the section, and this is the 2-column layout, and we open the section in an inspector window by clicking on it, this is the image, and you can see the right hand side line there. So if you want to change this to maybe some other image, you absolutely can. You can also define parallax image for that. So parallax means when you scroll the page, the background will stay where it is and text will scroll, giving you a nice effect, which is very popular these days. You can also define margins and paddings for the section. So this margin will mean that from the top, bottom, left, or right, it will have some spacing. And padding means the text inside will be padded for some space. So there will be some space between the whole section and where the text widget is starting. You can also change the whole alignment and different settings based on the section here. So that is done. I've just modified my heading. I changed some text. I changed the image there. I did that. And then I go to the layout section. Maybe I just want to delete the third one. So I will go to the whole section right here, which is timeline image right here. So I will click on the delete button. Yes, proceed. So now I just got rid of the third one. So this is how I quickly change these widgets. Now I want to change the counter. So I click on the counter and look at its configuration. You can see the ending number is defined here. You can make it 25 like that. And the counter speed, you can change that to maybe you want the counter to be slow. You can do that. So now it becomes slower, and you can change the colors for the counter element as well. So what you can see is in this section, counters, there are 4 counters. So this must be a 4-column layout for this section. What we will do is go back to our layout section, go to the counter section, click on it, and what you will see is the 4 layout column is selected. So we'll go more in detail when we create new pages and new sections and talk about how to work with sections and create layouts. So as you can see, this is just 4 columns, and each column has a counter element in it. Going down again, we have a custom headline, which is a title. Then we have some text. Then we have some gap element. Gap is like a separator. So you can click on it and you can see that 25 pixels of space is configured. All these elements are available from the elements window. There is an image 1200 by 350. If you want to change it, click on it. We can simply cross it and select something new. So I don't know if I have a big image like that. Maybe this one will work. So I will just insert that into a post. And now you can see that my image just changed. So that is how you do that. And I will put it back to where it was. And I don't know if I had this image, or it must be there because it was in the media library. But I cannot seem to find it. So for right now, I will just go with one of these. And I will just save the changes. So all the changes to my pages are saved. There is some more elements there like titles and images. And I will quickly walk you over that as well. So now you can see my page has these my elements, the counters. There's the image is what I modified. Maybe I just don't want to this section, so I will just click on it and not click on it. I want to be in the layout and locate where this is. This is a section called feature. So that's the one right there. And I will click on the delete icon and yes, proceed. I will just get rid of it. There's some more text. There is image elements, which is taking 200 by 200 type images. So if you click on that, you can change the images here. You can change the title elements like I showed you before. And here is a column with 3 sections, and you can change the titles, icons, and the text on it. So this certainly gives you more than a lot of people need, and you can get rid of the sections that you don't like. So this was a quick walkthrough on how to edit existing standard demos that you import in the X theme. I'll click on the save to save all my changes, and I'll refresh this page, and you will see that this has modified all my images and text and things like that, or updated. My counter elements have changed. I've gotten rid of some of the elements. So if you go there, you can certainly see that my images are there, my text is there, my image that is there. It is configured with a background pattern and stuff like that. So that was a very quick walkthrough on how this layout works, and if you're just modifying an existing demo element, how to go with that. Important thing to note is there are no like margins or anything here to work with. This is a full width layout, and it looks pretty fluid. So this is pretty nice. Now we will go about creating a new page. So that is certainly a very important topic. On top of this demo, I will just create a new page. So I will just close the window here. I don't need that anymore, and we are on to this new page. So I will just give it a title, just say a new page. And instead of the default template, you can select the different page layouts that you have. So a lot of people have this problem. Let's say if I just leave it to default template and say publish. So now, before we go into all the detail with the spacing, you can change the permalink here as well. New page 2 is new about page. So I will just give it that, and I will just leave it at default template, update the page. And as you can see in my WordPress visual editor, the third one is called the Cornerstone. If you click on it, you can edit the page with Cornerstone. So I'll click on the edit page with Cornerstone, and now my page is gonna open with Cornerstone. So this is my new page. It has a sidebar and it has these containers. So let's say instead of this, I want to make this a full width template. There are 2 ways about it. You can go back and change the page template for the WordPress layout like I was showing you before. So if I go back, and there is a default template. So the default template has a sidebar on it. So if you say, you can choose from blank, container, header, footer. So a lot of times people select layout full width. So let's say I go with a layout full width and update it. And now if I view the page, let's see what we get. So we get this, but still we see that there is some padding and this looks like a boxed format. So to get rid of that, there is a container involved on this page. So for example, if we look at the home page, we go back to the home page and look, just edit the page. What we will see is blank, no container. The page template is defined as blank, no container, header, or footer. So if we go back to our page that we were just editing, I'll click on the pages and click on the new, I'll desort it by default, the one that I modified. This is my new page. And if I, instead of the layout full width, if I say blank, no container, header, and footer, and update this, and now look at my page. Now it has a full width, more width to work with, no container. So this certainly looks nicer. You can always use whatever sliders you want, whatever settings you want per page in X theme. So you can go there and configure it like you want. So let's say I want a slider and I want the slider above my header element, which is the logo and the menu. You can simply go in there and select the sliders. Where is the slider? I need to go down. There it is, slider above masthead. I will just say that and update. Just to recap quickly, if you don't know how to create sliders, it is in my previous video, so you can give it, you can take a quick look at it. Now you can see the sliders at the top, then my logo, then the menu, and then the page is there. So that is how you work with that, and I showed you how the page templates work. So there, the page template is again updated. I don't know, I think this was open previously. I wanted to make it no container, header and footer. You can see that you can select no header, no footer as well. So if you do that, then these things, this is the footer element which you can configure, you can control all the content inside of it colors. This will go away, and the header element will be that, so that will go away as well. So I just want to make it no container, header and footer. So this happened because my editor was still open and it overrode my previous changes. So now I've updated the page. I'll refresh it and you'll see that this is spacing and container is gonna go away. So now I don't have any container to work with. So let's edit this page with Cornerstone. I'll click on the edit page, and now I will go to the Cornerstone tab here and click on edit with Cornerstone. So this is a totally new, brand new page. I don't have any sample content to work with here, so I cannot edit the pre-built elements. What I want to show you here is how you can quickly use the themeco blocks that are come bundled in with the X theme to create effective layouts. So that is that, and you can click on the templates, and when you click on the templates, you can go whole pages. So you can, let's say about page, you can click on it and insert and say yes. And what this does is it imports a bunch of sample content with design that comes in the integrity about page built into the theme. So you can certainly do that. It's like, maybe if you don't like it, you can say available positions, insert yes. So once you do that, it will be a different layout. But what this does, and these are professionally built, very nice looking layouts, so you can pretty much use them out of the box. For example, if you had a blue element in your logo, I think this will go really well. Otherwise, you can select a color scheme on how to go about sections and how to change them. For example, I want to make it this yellow. I will just click on that. Now I have a layout to work with, so it's easier for me. I can click on that, and this is the background color, so I can maybe change this to yellow and make it contrast with the color scheme that I'm working with, or the color palette of my website. So if this is green, maybe this will be some shade of green or something that complements the section really well. So that, or you can put background images, parallel effect, you can affect parallax effects, define margins, put images, make it interesting. So that is what you can do. You can choose a different background type. You can put an image, video. You can not have a background at all. You can just put a plain color. So all those things are configurable. If you wanted an image here as opposed to a color, you can click on that and then you can pick an image. So that is how you work with different sections if you are importing all of the page. So I'll just save that with my green background in it. And once I save that, it'll refresh Cornerstone and all my changes will be visible. So I made this change and made this section green. So that is what Cornerstone did. So as you can see, because I imported a page layout, now I have sections to work with. Similarly, another nice section, let's say you want to add more content, but you don't want to override this page. You can also go to templates, and instead of themeco pages, you can use themeco blocks. So let's say you want to add another block, and there are different blocks available to you. So let's say you want to add a get in touch section on your page. So you can click on get in touch block and insert it. So once you insert that, it only inserts a section on your page, which is like the contact information. So you can edit all that. This is a headline, this is some text element, contact, this is some text element, a Google map, and then that's pretty much it. So maybe you don't like it. So go back to your layout and you can simply get in touch section is you can delete that and add something else. So you can try maybe team 2 columns. Maybe that will give you a nicer layout. So you have to play with it and see which is the one that you really like. So maybe I will go with menu 3 columns. Maybe that's the layout that I want. So after my this element menu, 3 elements, which I really don't like, this is geared towards restaurants and their quick menus, so I will remove the menu 3 columns there. So these are standard blocks, and if you look in themeco's theme X documentation, you will see sample pages and how these blocks are created. So I will just leave it at that and leave it to you to explore further, play around with these elements. This is a promo element. A promo element is made up of like an image at the top, then there is a title element for the position, and then there is some text, and there is social media sharing. So if you want to edit any of that, you can click on that and you will see all the different elements that you can configure. So the social media element, they're using a short code for icon like that, and all of that is basically different short codes that come with the Cornerstone, and some paragraphs, some formatting, some styles, some heading elements, and you certainly have control on all of them, so you can modify this. This promo element is being controlled by everything that's defined here, so you can change all that. If you wanted to make this window bigger, you can click on the expand button and it gives you more of a window to work with. So you can easily modify these text elements or short codes that the page is composed of. And I'll click on this to make it go back again and save my changes. So once my changes are saved, now I went over two very important aspects. One is the page imports that we use to import the basic layout of the page. And if you want to create it yourself, by all means, you absolutely can. And then I put a themeco blocks import like that, and then I showed you how you can quickly modify these things, and these can give you a head start. You can do very professional looking nice websites very quickly with these, because you don't have to worry about all the layouts, and they're giving you professional layouts to work with. Now let's say you just don't want any of these and you want to explore all the elements or different kinds of layouts, and how do you work with sections. So I will go back to my layout, and basically I'll just get rid of everything here. So yes, I will delete everything. I don't like it. I want to build my own. I want to spend the time and have more control on how each of the elements look. So basically what I will do is I will not go to templates, but I will instead add a section. So once you add a section, it gives you a section like that, and now you have to select a column layout for the section. So right now it's just one column. You click on this section and it gives you various choices to pick from. So you can pick 2 columns, you can pick 1/3, and like you can, the first column is much narrower as the second is narrower. You can go with 3 column layout, you can go with 4 column layout, you can go with 1x5s, and you can go define a custom layout as well. So just to make things easier on myself, I will just go with 1x3. So now you can see it gave me 3 columns to work with, and it defines that all 3 columns are here, and I can click on that and go to column properties. So for the first column, I want to make a background color which is black, or instead of making it black, I will just make it transparent for right now and just say save, because I want to put images on different elements here. But you can see where I can change the whole section or column color. You can also change the background color of the section. Click on the section, and now you can pick the color from here in this box. Like if you change it to that, it will change the whole section. So I want to maybe go with that color. I have a 3 column layout defined. Once I go there, I have the 3 columns, and I can click on this Cornerstone icon right here to add stuff to my column. So once I do that, then I can work with any of these. Maybe I want to put a block code on there, so I'll click on that, drag it onto my Cornerstone window, and there's my block code. So I can edit it just like I showed you before. Click on it and it brings it up this block code element in my inspector. Here is where I can change things. Here is my title. I can also change the styles of these titles by defining inline styles or defining CSS classes, assigning IDs. change the alignments on this element, or add different widgets altogether onto this column. So I'll click on the column again. Now we are in the column again. I can go to elements window, and maybe after this block code I want to put something else. So I will put a counter element, just like that. So now I have a counter element underneath of my block code. So if my counter element, I can click on that. Maybe these are the projects that I've completed. And speed, I can modify the starting number. You can change that and it'll start from 5. You can change the text color. So instead of that, I want this red color right here. So now you can see that the color is changed here. Maybe this color also needs to change. So you can certainly play with all of that and see how you want to make things work. It has also a padding defined. The default, you can change the paddings and the margins of different elements. Let's say for column 2, we'll go with an image and some text. So in the column 2, I'll just click on it to select it. On here, you can search various elements that are available to you in this text. I will just grab this text, put that in my column right there, and once I click on it, it'll open a WordPress editor. So I will just type some text. So you can see it is kind of small. So what I want to do is put an image before this text as well. So you can also put inline styles. This is just like a WordPress editor. So what you can also put media images and things like that from within this editor. So I'll just do that, and then maybe I will add an image. You can also insert Cornerstone shortcodes. So for the image, I want maybe this, and I will just make it a small thumbnail, 150 by 150, and insert into my design. So there is the image right there, and the text underneath is that. So the text, I will make it center line. So visual view, there is my image, and this is my text, and I put my cursor here. Go to visual. Okay, for some reason I'm not seeing the alignment control here. So what I will do is simply make it a paragraph, and then for this paragraph I can go style. These things will also be available somewhere visually, but I'll have to locate it and say text dash align center. Okay, so now I have a paragraph which is centered align, and I have a centered align image with 150 and 150 at the top. So I will just say save, and now my second column has elements in it. Okay, now we have space for something else. You can certainly pick and choose whatever you like. So maybe I will go to the elements window and pick something that I like or I want to put there. The other thing I could have done was just use the image element instead of the built-in image in the editor, but I wanted to show you how you can work with a single text block and how text block is very powerful. So you can certainly do that as well. So there you can put a slider here. Let's say you want to put a slider. You can put a slider and click on it and select which slider you want to choose. So that's a full width slider, so it's not gonna work in that section. So those sliders are defined as full width. So maybe this is not a very good choice for our section. So I'll just delete that and go to the elements window again and find something that will work better. Maybe a block code here like that. And then in the third column, I'll click on that and maybe I'll use the image element this time. So maybe I want some call to action. So creative call to action is what will go here, and you can edit that by clicking on it. There is some padding defined. There is click here to learn more. There's a line break defined in between the HTML. Text size you can change. The graphic you can change, and you can pick an icon. That if you like an icon, you can certainly pick an icon for the CTA to make things more interesting. And you can also duplicate or delete the section here. I will go back to the layout for the column. So this is my row 1. I want to go there. This is the this is layout window. So in this section 1, and I'll go to the third column right there, and then I can drag more elements on there. So I can do a text element underneath of that like that, and then I will have some text to work with. So maybe I don't like the text element, I'll just delete that and maybe put an accordion element over there. So for the accordion elements, you'll have to configure some things and options, so you can click on it and you can add different items that will be accordion elements. Let's say I want to add a third item, accordion element 3, click on it and you can put some text here. So once you are done with that, you can also select which one of the accordion will be open. So you can say start open, turn that to on or off. You can certainly define IDs and classes. So you can save that. And that is one section that I just completed on my page. So another thing I can do effectively is, maybe I really like this section and that is what I want to do. I can click on the section right there. This is the section window. I can also duplicate the section by clicking on this duplicate icon right there. So maybe I want to have the same layout and change the color. So I will, and one thing I missed was you can also name the section so it's easier for you to find it. Section 1 is pretty evident where it is, but you can click on it and define what is it. It is so intro maybe. So if you do that, you can define names to your section as well. So now it is intro. I want to duplicate it. You can duplicate it like that and say, instead of copy of intro, so I will do that. So once I go back to my layout, I have a colored 2 and a colored 1, which are a copy of each other basically. So I'll select that, and maybe I want to put this element as the first element. So I will just drag that here. I will want 2 block quotes in the second one, so I will drag the block quote here. So you can see it's super powerful, and I can drag and drop things. I can maybe define the creative CTA in the second one and put the block quote on the third one. So you can do that. And if I go to the section, instead of this background color, to add some contrast, I will have a darker or a lighter color to work with. Maybe some shade of blue might work better with my logo and the color palette. So you can do that, save the element, and that is how you create a page layout. So I think what is very, very important for you when you're working with page layouts is to have a visual way of knowing how your page will be, or how to lay out various design elements. Planning is very important. You should plan on how your page should look like. You can look at maybe some page that you really like, and then you can start building that. With this tool, pretty much any layout that you want to build, any kind of text widgets, pretty modern look and feel, you can do pretty easily without having to work a lot. In this video, I did go over the templates, how to go with the themeco blocks, how to import all of the themeco page, how to create your own sections, and how to configure the different page templates that you have. Now, if you go to settings section on this Cornerstone, the settings are here as well, and the slider settings are here as well. So let's say I want to make this standard and my header has to be on the top before the slider. I can change that from here, and you can say in the general, you can also select your page templates from here. So right now we are blank, no container. You want to see how it would look like with a container, so maybe you can do that, and it'll add some padding to your sections. So if you did that and save, you will start seeing some padding in Cornerstone that I'm not a big fan of, but many people would like that. So there is a container for the page, and you can style it accordingly. So you can see that the page template controls how the page is going to look like. Let's say after that you wanted a section with just some text and an image as a background. So that is very simple to do. You can add a section onto this page, and now it'll add a section. And this is my section 3, so I'll click on it, and first thing I'll do is define a background image for it. So I'll click on the 1 by 1 right there. I don't want to do the column, I want to do the section. So in this section I can pick a background image. So I will go and say something from my media library that is wide enough. So 1440 by 772 looks like a decent dimension for the image. So I have the image here, and maybe all I want is some call to action here, or some text, or whichever one you want. And I want to enable parallax on it. So my parallax is here. I'll just grab some text like that, and I will click on this cornerstone icon. I can select whichever element I want. Maybe I want I'm looking for what I want, maybe a prompt. So a prompt is like that. You can define a title. So that, and then you want to edit the button. So the button is right there. You can see an icon on the button which is like a light bulb. So instead of that, there are a bunch of other icons available. Most of the time you can pick one of them and do that. So as you can see, something really nice about Cornerstone is very responsive. So as you are doing that, making changes, it'll update things here and tell you how exactly it's gonna look. Maybe I want to put a circle or a nice X theme symbol around it. So you can do that by doing that. It puts more emphasis on the call to action or the button itself. That's a built-in feature that they give you for your buttons. So that is how you can create a page layout. I will go back to the full width section because I really like full widths. So I will select blank, no container, header and footer. So also something to know is you can certainly change anything on your page by defining custom CSS on the page. So these are just settings that you can work with, but a lot of times it won't be available. Sometimes it won't be available. Now you can see that there's a parallax effect on the page, so my background is fixed and the section over it scrolls. So certainly whenever you're using parallax images, your content needs to be more than what it is. I think, let's go to prompt setting again. I'm looking for if there is a background color. So it doesn't look like there is a background color defined for this prompt, so I'll have to write CSS for it if I wanted. So I can define a CSS class or an ID to this element and write my CSS. All the CSS is right here. So custom CSS you can write there. If you want to put tracking code, Google Analytics, things like that, you can put a custom JavaScript. If you are like to write your own JavaScript, you can certainly do that. And that is pretty much it about how to work with Cornerstone and the X theme. So I hope that this provided you with good feedback on how to go with your page design. You can certainly look at something that you really like and try to mimic that. That is a good way to go about responsive design, and these pages look beautiful in mobile view as well. Certainly something very good about the X theme. So if you go to this mobile icon here and click on maybe how my page will look on a cell phone. So this is how your page will look on a cell phone with you can see that everything is a single column now, but still aligns beautifully. So you have to plan your page sliders and all the widgets that will be on the page accordingly. And once you have a good idea of how to go with the design, you can just go in Cornerstone and implement that quickly. Secondly, you can also make use of these themeco blocks and templates that come with the theme. In my earlier videos, I went over how to set up that theme and set up the licensing and all the plugins and everything. That is very important to work with Cornerstone. If you don't have that, you will have issues with how to set these up. If you don't have licensing set up, you won't have these options available. You can also have all the X themes. My next video will be focused on all the different options. So it'll go over some theme options that you can modify and achieve a better look and feel for your website. So once again, if you are in the market looking for customizing your website, you can certainly contact me on my website. My website address is in the description of this video. And if you are in the market looking for domain and hosting, my recommendation, it's very important on how the performance of your website is and your search engine rankings as well. So I certainly have my strong recommendations about hosting, and there are costs associated with the hosting that you need to be careful of. You need to make a very careful decision about who you are going with. So my recommendations are in the description of this video, and I hope that you find my video helpful. Give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss these videos in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.